So they say people are investigating right now, but everybody keeps getting caught up by these guys because they take everything, they screen record it, they go through my socials like Snapchat and download stuff, and then give passes to the other trainers on one side while using it, pretending like they're investigating the situation on the other side. You know, there's a Secret Service agent, FBI agent, they pretend like they put me on some criminal watch list or terrorist watch list, whatever it is. And what they do is they invade the departments and make it look like it's something that the actual department does. So they don't know how to handle it, but if they ask too many questions, go in too deep, they end up getting set up the same way the extortion ring. They've invaded the FBI, or they've invaded some of the departments to get this in there. If not all the way, they've invaded people who are on the lookout, or Neuralink knows when they're looking for it and sets them up. Again, this would be a lot easier if the other victims were on my side, but they don't want to have it that way. According to Neuralink, they think about getting out of it, but they can't. But Neuralink actually summarizes whatever they're thinking in their own narrative anyway. Yeah, so that's what it is. And some of them have decided they're just gonna stick it out and see what happens. If they get out of it, they get out of it. If they don't, they don't. It sucks though, because of seeing them and tried to get them. Alright, whatever. Back to it. Other times isn't in the building anymore. They still got their words all over the building though. But they moved to another location. Publicly, at least. I don't know. But yeah, so if they're on my side, it'd be a lot easier. Some of them are scared. Like I said before, you're told if you go back to Derrion, you're gonna die. So it's just like you being in a bank robbery, right? And the bank robbers tell you, or the police, let's say in this situation, since the police are involved on the other side. Actually, no, let's say the good police are on the outside and you see a way to run out, right? But you remember that the bank robbers told you, if you try to escape, they're gonna kill you, right? But if you have an opportunity to get away from them, so they all turn their back, and you don't just stay there, right? You leave the door open, you see the police outside, you sprint out and get to them, right? You sprint out and get to safety. So the way if everybody else is in the extortion and sex trafficking ring, and some of them are caught up, some of them submit to it or agree to it because they're told they get to have sex. Nobody wants to get in trouble. And there's a lot of people who wouldn't have got in trouble if they would have just stopped and said, okay, we'll just handle this situation like our job entails. But if I'm the only person that's trying to get help, right, and you're on the bad guy side, and you're the one helping cover it up, right? And that includes the rest of the community. It was me and the community members that were on my side. Then there was outsiders. Tai Do went around starting groups of people to attack them and help split everybody up. So if anybody wakes up and they get to me, now it's me and them, right? I displayed the video of how to get out of this situation, which I'll post again.
Free the whole planet with the Fibonacci sequence. 1 get free, helps another 1 get free, those 2 help 2, those 4 help 3, they all work together help 5 more get free, 8, 13, 21, 34. Keep growing.
But that's how you have to do it if I'm the only person that's actively trying to get you out, get myself out every day. You don't stay with the bad guys when you have an opportunity to get out, especially when you're conscious of it. But I mean, a lot of these guys are kids. They've been dumbed down. Neuralink said they were dumbing them down a long time ago. They don't want them to be able to see ways out, think it's possible to get out. They villainized me as much as possible, try to make me look unintelligent while they're robbing me of my intelligence and copying everything that I do. So I see, like, if I'm watching videos and I'll comment something and like, oh, well, we gotta use that, right? They take it and they add it to their conversation. They're learning a lot from me, right? I'm pretending to investigate. To a certain extent, it's like Neuralink's doing a lot of it and then passing it to them, right? And that's how it's been working for 4 years. Tactic 2, Neuralink says law enforcement says this, law enforcement wants that. They'll mean Tai Do, they'll mean Westminster PD, they'll mean the FBI Secret Service agent, they'll mean Who else? Or a combination of everything, but they'll mix it up, right? So you don't know who's saying what, and then a lot of times they're not actually saying it, right? It's Neuralink. Neuralink says if you have sex, then they own you, and the more they give you kids, the higher your extortion goes, right? So by extortion, they're using your name, they're using your brand, your law enforcement brand, to their advantage, right? So if you're in there and you're doing it a lot, or if you're on the sexual slavery part and they have that much dominance over you, they say they own you, right? And they do it with me too. You'll hear me talking shit to everybody. It's not me. I'm not paying attention to everybody. I'm focused on Neuralink and Elon Musk, right? And they're saying, oh, he said this. And they just said, don't say you didn't say it. You said the police can suck your dick. There's a lot of things that they're saying that I said that I didn't say. And then if I do say anything that they can use, they use it, right? Or just like when they first hacked my phone, if they're the ones that are antagonizing me 24/7 and I say something to them, they would just go to Westminster PD. This is what Derrion said about you guys, right? Over and over again. It's mind games, childish mind games, extremely childish mind games, but they got a lot of people falling for them. The reason why they're doing this behind the scenes, nothing that they have on me, if I even did anything, can be used in court. I don't have anything that they recorded me doing that I could be arrested or convicted of anyway. But no, I don't at all. Well, there's one exception. So if I was to do something, right, and they were able to get to my attorney or public defender and say, don't help him out, which pretty much is going on right now with my case against Westminster PD. So it's keeping me stuck, right? We're going to be on 2 years of not even having the case start, knowing damn well I understand the penal code. I understand the laws associated with the situation better than some of them. I understand my defense. I understand where the evidence is, but they're trying to push it back as much as they can. Back to that law enforcement thing. That's what I meant to say in the first place. So it was Westminster PD. They had officers who agreed to be with Elon Musk, right? Who asked him if they could be their own military, right? Who hung out with him, who helped him stop Neuralink in the beginning. Neuralink wanted to help me at one point. They had Westminster PD going there with guns, telling them not to. They went bad. They went extremely bad. Think of it as joining a gang, right? You join a gang and you have initiations. You have to kill somebody. They had them killing kids. They had killed an FBI agent. But then they'll go over to another department, go over to Garden Grove, right? They're invading Garden Grove, hanging out with them, and then getting them stuck in the situation too. So Neuralink says law enforcement, they'll include Garden Grove. They were doing the same thing in Fountain Valley. So telling them they all got to stick together. Derrion's this, Derrion's that. Not telling them anything that they're doing, right? Until it's too late, then they're extortable. They said, you can't say you didn't call Garden Grove police officer a bitch. Okay, so here's what happened. I called asking for help. He came out belligerent with me, called me a pariah. They didn't want to help. That's what the officers who were involved do. So yeah, I did. But you can't sex traffic kids and then say, oh, well, I'm law enforcement, so I can do whatever I want, and then have your whole department come in and just back you and say you guys aren't corrupt. If you're sex trafficking kids and you're killing kids, if Brandon Nguyen, the little one's dead, who said, I found my target right there, if he dead, Garden Grove PD killed him. They played the story while I was locked up. He didn't want to give him a blowjob. But they went through to all the kids, forced them to give blowjobs to police officers, CJ, Tai Do, FBI agent, Secret Service agent, to keep everybody quiet, intimidate them, and then they kept going. And back to them using video footage of me to arrest me or convict me of anything. When you first entered my phone, the plan was to extort me. You're Illuminati agents, right? Illuminati extortion, sex trafficking ring. If an invades you, they get you involved with it. Now you have to do whatever they say, right? That's how their gang works. That's how the law enforcement gang works. So you enter my phone, whether it's with a warrant or without a warrant, you're doing it illegally. You cannot get a warrant and use it for criminal purposes and then say that's what it is. Like I said, only way they'd be able to get past that if they get a defense attorney to just say he's incompetent to stand trial. I don't know if the federal ones would do it, Orange County. They do it because it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier than actually defending me in court, even though I can prove that this situation exists. When I say I can prove it exists, you can go through my Twitter account, right, and see all the evidence that I've collected, or a lot of the evidence that I've collected, and see that that's exactly what this is. This is a situation that's been done on repeat, right? And then, like, we're in 2023, right? So you have people who are intelligent enough to look at the situation and say, that really happened, right? You have all these cases where there's human trafficking rings, child sex trafficking rings, or allegations of abuse within organizations who are supposed to be the good guy, right? They invaded us. I didn't want to do it. They got CJ and Tai Do. They said they were the gatekeepers to my life. I didn't want to be the bad guy, so they're robbing me of everything and giving it to them and the rest of the Pedophile Club so they can replicate what I was doing and sex traffic within it, right? So that's how these organizations work. And then they'll say the people within it, some of the kids try to get free. They say that they were abused by counselors, by anybody who was involved. And Neuralink said, the federal government says, don't say it's a human extortion and sex trafficking ring. That's classified information. We don't want anybody to know about it. That's how that works. They call it classified information because nobody wants to get in trouble for what they're doing. And then you get situations where people take it home and then they got the FBI coming after them. The federal government, local government, state government, county government, they're all public entities, right? Paid for by tax dollars. None of this should be classified information because you don't want to get in trouble for being extorted. And in all reality, once you get away from the situation, you know, say they threatened to kill me if I didn't receive a blowjob from a kid, we need to arrest these guys. In a lot of situations, you didn't even have to mention that you went through that. But to be fair, they didn't know who was doing it. Now we do. We know exactly who's doing it. Elon Musk, Neuralink. They're on top. They robbed them of everything. The police, or Neuralink wants to continue to do this to me. They don't care about the police, right? When I was locked up, they said, "All right, time to take care of Westminster," but they didn't have full control over everything, right? By take control, I meant I would take out Westminster, Tai Do, CJ, Westminster PD, right? They don't want this thing to last and have people thinking that they owe them something, or have anybody who knows the entire story if they're able to complete their new world order, right? So they make fun of these guys. Tai Do's been made fun of so much. How do you think I know CJ was a virgin before this started, right? How do you think I know that Tai Do's fiance didn't want to have sex with him, right? How do you think I know that there was a police officer who saw me masturbating in front of my phone to regular porn, by the way, extremely regular porn, or it was lesbian porn at the time, but anyway, how do you think I know that he was mad about my penis size? They were listening to everybody's thoughts, right? And then use that to get them mad at me. Neuralink wants to set it up so I can't have anything in life. They said even if they go down, they want to make sure I don't have anybody on my side. They want to make sure all the kids hate me. They want to turn as many people against me as possible. They said they're going to set it up so if I go through this, other people go through it to make sure I don't get paid, even if they do go down. They've made it very, very clear that one of their main goals to this situation is to torment me and ruin my life because I was smarter than them. That's really what it was. But back in the day, that's what they used to do to black people if you were intelligent, right? And that's the same platform they're working off of. The exact same platform. That's who these guys are. Why Neuralink called the FBI agent their bitch, right? This is what's going on in my head. This is what they're playing. Or the Secret Service agent, and they said he wanted another Richard, right? He didn't like the fact that I could pick up a kid and take him to the park, right? Because they had pedophilia on their mind. I was a basketball trainer. I went to the park and trained. That's what it was. And they said I had too much influence to not have kids suck my dick. This is what they wanted from the beginning. They said Tai Do said that that I was selling sex on the internet because I have a picture of the kids at the beach. Yeah, we had a beach workout. We made videos. I've done that every year, right? They said they were making my life about pedophilia too. So they created stories around everything. They said my Instagram account had a shrine for Asian kids. Like, that's not what this was. But this is the image that they put out on their side, try to make me look like the biggest pedophile ever. This is what they said they wanted to do. We called the FBI agent our bitch. We don't want to know that we didn't say that about all FBI agents. That's what Neuralink just said right now. But it's frustrating because I can't get the FBI to talk directly to me. If he sat down with me, this would be over in a day. It's any law enforcement, any sworn law enforcement officer who can get warrants or subpoenas for anything. Law enforcement, public or prosecutor's office, federal agents, or I said law enforcement already. Any of them. That'd make this a lot easier. But Neuralink has pledged to make sure nobody talks to me. So from working different channels, they're doing everything they can to stop people investigating from speaking with me. I'm the one who, like, even the leads that they got so they can clean up evidence, they got it from me. Everything. I'm the one who was having conversations with people and saw them receiving text messages of my thoughts because they would comment on the things that I was thinking. So I knew that was there. And then on top of that, like, somebody, they say it's Tai Do, but somebody bought Ballaxy.com right before I had a chance to buy it, right? I was in Starbucks, I saw it was available, I was so excited, ran out to my car, came back, it was already purchased, right? They're in my phone, watching, monitoring everything I do, contacting anybody that I communicate with to prevent me. They said they want to control all of my relationships, right? And that's where they're going with this. They're extremely messed up. And they said they wanted to be, quote unquote, as fucked up as possible. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're representing evil. So they're pushing it like that. They had to go evil because they wanted to have sex. Again, like I said before, one of the Neuralink guys came out here. He actually admitted that himself had never had sex before, and this is his first time. But it was obvious because you could tell he said he wanted somebody to be sexual with, right? That's where he formed a relationship with Vigo. But even with that, him communicating even with that, it was forced, right? Vigo didn't want to have sexual conversations with grown men, especially once he didn't know. But they got him so intertwined in this thing that he doesn't know how to handle it, and he's stuck. So I can't be mad at him for going off on me. I'm the easiest target in his eyes. He doesn't understand everything that's going on. And if they have him watching my phone, right, they have my kids monitoring my phone and having them report stuff, document stuff, or anything they can. They can embarrass me. I don't get embarrassed, so that didn't work out. They're pissed off about that. They said, you can't be psychologically stronger than white people. It's frustrating. This entire situation is extremely racist. But it's like Vigo, Nolan, or me seeing Keem, trying to get Keem to come back to me to be on my side so we can free him, the rest of the kids, and stop the human trafficking industry. He says he outgrew Ballaxy, right? I'm sitting there going through my old snaps. We were training at the time, right? I was bringing back older players to train with them, right? Who were juniors, seniors in high school. I was anybody who, or even adults. I started training some of the adults, former players. People don't want to get out of basketball, and then I got a lot better at my training abilities, so I wanted to make up for anything that I missed out on. Like I was trying to, they got me right when Tommy came back, but I started training with Steven again, who I think may be dead. I hope not, but it made me feel, when I was locked up in jail, it made me feel a sharp pain in my head and said, we know how much you love Steven, or we wanted you to feel this because we know how much you love Steven. But it was a really sharp pain and it hurt. Yeah, so that's what I was trying to do. So he didn't really outgrow it, especially since he told me he wanted to own his own business before he graduated high school. I said, I got you. And we were in the middle of actually building out these sites. Alright, so Keem just chose his first business. What'd you choose, Keem?
I chose Ballaxy Digital Musicians.
What do you sell?
I sell platforms and websites for musicians, like rappers, singers.
Nice. We slowed down a little bit. These guys came in, started confusing everybody, and on top of that, was trying to focus on their basketball growth because summer had just hit. But I mean, with Nolan came. Nolan wasn't even. I don't think he was aware of all the other technical stuff because we're focused on basketball when he got there. Nolan, we just started training, went 24-hour fitness, worked on his jump shot. The jump shot got a lot better than CJ Hollingsworth, his basketball coach, told me he wasn't allowed to train with me anymore because he was jealous. They said they didn't want any of my kids to be good, anybody I trained to be successful at basketball. So they had to switch their profession. They ruined a lot of basketball careers. We go through and see some of the stuff we're training on, some of the stuff we're working on, and it's like, damn, they didn't get to really utilize any of this, right? I was going to the games, monitoring what they were doing, so we said, okay, you need to fix this, you need to fix this, you need to fix this. Couldn't do it. It's like having a professional trainer. Fixing every aspect of your game that you need to work on, right, to make sure you survive throughout high school. And that was something that I wanted to be involved with Ballaxy. Anyway, it was fun for me, and I know it was fun for the kids to be able to, or it was good for the kids to have somebody like that and have a program like that. On top of that, I was recording their games, providing them with online platforms so they could promote their skills to pro teams or to colleges because they wanted to be able to play after high school, right? None of them got that. But that was something Neuralink wanted to destroy. They didn't want us to have it like that. It was going to showcase everything. And on top of that, showcase their ability to build their own websites, right, as a funnel for online platforms.com. It was all part of it, and then they would have got paid for leads that came off of their website, so all they'd have to do is promote themselves, right? And then they could either make money off just bringing the leads in or make money off of helping build customer sites as well. And then we had a bunch of other stuff going on as well. If you go on my Twitter, Coach Derrion, CoachDerrion, you see a lot of that outlined, but I'll add it to Instagram too. Frustrating. It's really frustrating. And I wanted to put these guys in a situation to where I could build this thing, and then I could pass it on and have some of them take control of it if anything happened to me. They said that everybody was too loyal to me. Said I wasn't allowed to have a family-owned program. He said that's what it was. He said you can't build a family and say we can't be involved. They said they didn't want me to have loyalty from anybody because they didn't want to not be able to control it. Right? They wanted to be able to control my business, have me do what they wanted. And then at the same time, I had too much because they didn't want me to be in a situation where Elon Musk had to compete with me as an entrepreneur in public because he wouldn't have been able to compete with me. He didn't have the personality for it. And that's one of the reasons why they're streaming my personality and giving it to him. He's literally copying my personality and adding it to his. They give it to other people too. Neuralink's doing it. They put in the artificial intelligence. Been robbed of a lot. Thing. When I said Neuralink wanted to help me, I mean clear that up a little bit. They still wanted to be able to sex traffic. That's what it was. They said I wasn't allowed to care about the kids. I had to give them up. They wanted to be a part of my life. It was a battle for my life. Everybody wanted me, and they all had this idea of if they couldn't have me, nobody else could have me. That's how a lot of this went in the beginning, and then Elon Musk and Westminster PD. They went to where that guy was, the Neuralink guy, stopped him from doing anything to try to get, I don't want to say help me because you can't sex traffic my kids and then say you were trying to help me at all. But they went in there to stop him. Then they took over Neuralink as a whole. So that's what it is. Neuralink, I guess they compromise, right? They still get the sex traffic. So they get to own me as the monkey with the mohawk. I'm sorry, last thing. Last thing. I told Neuralink I would help them get their company back. Because, when you have an owner of a company and then Elon Musk is involved at any level, it means he's going to push you out and take control of it, right? So I think that was why they were sort of on my side. But like I said, you can't want to sex traffic my kids or kids at all and say you're on my side. It just doesn't work like that. With me, kids, all the kids that were involved, and community members that wanted to help me. We were all under attack by these guys. I like to tell police officers that they can't do anything about this situation because the feds are involved. You tell the feds they can't do anything about it because the military is involved. This is the thing, they just manipulate you. If you don't know something, they use it against you. And that's everybody, not just them. When they tell people that they have to side with the police, but you have Neuralink inside of you, you have to use Neuralink to communicate with the police. You're talking to Neuralink, right? You're not talking to the actual police. Any going against Neuralink, because Neuralink's calling themselves the alternate universe, right? And if Neuralink takes over the entire world, that is the alternate universe. So their universe merging with our universe creates a multiverse. This is a multiverse invasion. But it's technology, not the actual alternate universe doing it. Agents or kids telling anybody that I said the kids had to suck my dick to be in my life. I never said that. The same people who they're covering up for, or people involved, the adults involved, especially in the beginning, they were the ones that said it. They said it. They were going around saying, this is what Derrion wants. You never once heard me say that. I didn't say it. I wouldn't have done that. Why the hell would I do that? Like, I've been doing this for years. I've never even thought about it. Never thought about it. These guys are going around using my name to sexualize kids after they released my porn searches, and saw that nobody was mad at me, and people wanted to be involved in my sex life. These guys said I had to share with them. Why Neuralink said, you had sex already, it's our turn, right? For a while in the beginning, they kind of looked up to me. When they gave me the blue chew, I kind of talked about sex. I mean, they liked listening to me. But after they saw everything and saw people were on my side, not just economically and socially, but sexually, they said they wanted it, right? And they were able to get CJ. They said CJ was a virgin, quote unquote. We didn't want him to be a virgin anymore. So that's how they got him involved. On this level, right? And even with him, they played him saying, when they asked him about sex trafficking, are you going to pick him up or do you want me to drop him off? Right? So that is something that he's doing. But it's not something that's being taken care of. That's the frustrating part. It's really frustrating. It's being protected. You know, Westminster PD was going around school to school, stopping me from being able to tell them what was going on. Mr. PD told the schools I wasn't allowed on school campuses, right? Told people that they had to call 911 if they had any contact with me because they were investigating, right? You can't just say, like, I was in Santiago High School principal, let her know about the sex trafficking ring. Guardian Girl PD comes up, pulls me out, says, you know, we can arrest you for trespassing. Not legally, right? But that's what it was. Because Westminster PD said I'm not allowed to schools at all, right? They went around to the schools to do this, right? It was being rubbed in my face while I was locked up as well. It happened while I was out, but it was rubbed in my face while I was locked up. That the LQ principal told me when I wanted to warn them. Same thing. Westminster PD said you're not allowed on school campuses. That's not their job. It's not their right. But they're doing it because there's no oversight in their department, and there hasn't been any kind of accountability for them being allowed to sex traffic, rob, rape, enslave. They were literally running slave patrol. This is the exact function that they were invented for in the first place. You watch the old slave movie, you see a slave run away, people chase behind him, take him and lynch him. That job was later converted to police officer. Right? So whenever the Klan comes, the Klan invades, they tell them you have the freedom to do this, and that's exactly what it is. He wants to run this sex trafficking ring, right? That's why I'm not allowed on school campuses, because I can't warn everybody. They said they want everybody, he said anybody with a penis should be able to have sex, right? This is their thought process. Now, when this first started, they gave me a true serum. I was given a sexual stimulants to put in my food or my drinks, and I talked about it. I talked about sex, talked about sexual experiences, and they kind of looked up to me at that point. But when they saw that everybody else were still on my side, and people wanted to be involved with me, whether it was sexually or socially or economically, they got upset, right? That's why they said they're the new Derrion. They started copying everything I was doing. They thought, since they called me masturbating in the beginning, they thought I was like them, right? They thought it would be difficult, so they tried to get me to sex traffic. Again, the people before them tried to get me to sex traffic. And again, I said no. I proved to them I was able to talk to people. I met this woman. As soon as I got the text, got her number. Neuralink contacted her, or had somebody contact her to stop me from having a relationship, or even on a meetup app. I met somebody, and they went, they got an account on the app and did the exact same thing. They said, I'm not allowed to have sex, right? Again, they said, you had sex already, it's our turn. That's just their thought process throughout this situation. It's the alternate universe, basically, where we switch places. They said, that's why they keep saying, I'm not allowed to be cool, I'm not allowed to look cool. They said, we don't want to live in a world where you have to be cool to have sex. Now, before then, it was mostly racial. It was a white supremacy issue, maintaining white supremacy, not letting me have my life. These guys, a lot of it's still about that, because Elon Musk is still involved, but it's about being cool and having sex a lot. And they said everybody who wanted to do anything sexual with Derrion has to be with us, right? So if they kidnapped everybody, forced them to be on their side, we used this sex club thing. They told everybody you had to join the sex club. Then again, once again, they cornered everybody, forced them to get a blowjob, and they started the sex trafficking ring. And then they made it so it appears to be a sex club, to where everybody's having sex with each other. But then they get to come in and do whatever they want, right? Everybody, it's not like that, everybody, because they've gone outside and got more people who are involved in the situation at all, right? They said they're changing Asian culture. So with Neuralink, they don't talk about me racially as much, because before I was told Black Lives Don't Matter anymore. But now it's a lot about Asians. They said, they said Garden Grove, I told a story about Garden Grove PD, and they said, you said that they had the kid with them. They want that to be something that they can just do to the Asian community, right? It's enforcement, just like they're having military recruiters do stuff, and they're calling them the feds, because when you say the feds, you're going to assume it's the FBI, but they have other people doing things who they've converted into human traffickers, and they'll have them do stuff, and they'll say it's the police, they'll say it's Garden Grove PD. So they got the names initially, but then they started spreading the crime using other people, right? Neuralink's facilitating it. Elon Musk bragged about having an assembly line function. That's what this is, right? It's an assembly line where you may not know what the next person is doing, but they're controlling your response to a situation, right? Or if they tell you Westminster PD doesn't want you to do this, right? They'll have somebody else go do something to you, right? Let's say go pop your tire, right? And it may not be the police officers that do it, but they're using their name, if that makes sense. And this is what they want to spread around the world to create their alternate universe. Hell on earth. Don't want this to be something that spreads. It's evil. They're turning everybody evil. We look up CIA projects or Project MK Ultra. They said they were getting people to perform assassinations against their will, right? That's what they've been doing. If you go back in time to the Klan attacks, that's what they were, right? They martyr situations. They find somebody that they're robbing because they have more than they want them to have, or they're jealous of them, they're jealous of their personality, jealous of everything. They start sex trafficking, and then within the extortion and sex trafficking ring that they spread, they have people create crimes, they have people commit crimes, right? And those are the news stories that you see, right? The Jonathan Dormer, right? The guy who went on a shooting rampage killing police officers, same thing, right? They said they turned him against the police. The police were trying to save him, they're trying to help him out, LAPD, so they turned him against him, right? And that's what they plan on doing around the world. So that needs to stop. It was a really small group, now it's a lot more people. This is Neuralink's revenge on the world, right? Just like with me, they're making me pay for being smarter than them, right? They're getting the revenge on me, just like anti-intelligence operations or counterintelligence. Counter is you're fighting back, right? Counterintelligence, you're fighting back against intelligence, right? So you're making people pay for being smarter than you. These guys are making the world pay for their lives. They want to be able to have the lives that other people have. They said anything that's fun, they want to do it. Elon Musk said he didn't have a good childhood, he was bullied a lot, right? He wants to take that out on the world. right? So Elon Musk and Neuralink together is a dangerous combination when they have this technology. Without the technology, they'd abscond to this entire situation, right? They'd run and hide behind a rock. But with people knowing exactly who they are, exactly what they do, we need to stop them before all their computer brain interfaces, operators are scattered around the world working remotely. So that's the plan.
Coming up on a go for all the sequence start.
Army Operatives came in to rob us in the middle of Ballaxy's launch. I had a lot going on, whether it was Ballaxy basketball, Ballaxy digital, photography, the Ballaxy Partners program. But one thing I was trying to do was bring back former players and people I've trained before or who have been in any footage that I posted throughout the growth and provide jobs, right? Whether it was photography, tutoring, website design, there was basketball training, or acting. So, well, not acting. We're doing ads, and everything was encompassed together with not just the former players, not just everybody bringing back, but the kids that were in the program.
Like, you have something on your shirt.
He says
oh
he
wait,
wants it
that's the brand.
like this.
It was not only a basketball technology company, but a multimedia marketing platform. They didn't want me to build the legacy I was building for myself and be black, and they didn't want me to do it with the Asian community. Said we couldn't have a family program or a family-owned business, so I couldn't have Asian family. It's been 4 years, I'm still being held hostage. They refused to allow me to generate a source of income or have any relationships. They went through my social following, told people to stop watching my story, told people to stop liking my posts, said that everything in my life had to be given up as a sacrifice to white supremacy. I need help.